I'm here with Mulaa, the medic from Fourth Fence, the French team here at poLANd 2025.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Mulaa? You ready for LAN?
Yeah, ready. I'm feeling very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've just come out of the season. We haven't had playoffs yet, but you're looking to be one of the stronger teams here. You're going to be contesting, hopefully, for the grand final.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, where do you think you are going to be placing at LAN this year?
I mean, in my mind, I would like to be placing first, obviously. That's why we come here. It's going to be tough. A lot of good teams attending this year. But yeah, first.
Okay. Have you been having, I'm assuming, let me ask you. Let's say you get to the grand finals. Who do you think you're going to be coming up against? Is it Witness?
Yeah, it has to be Witness.
Has to be Witness. Okay. Have you been having close games with them online at the moment?
I mean, first OFI of the season was a dub for us against them.
Of course.
So it started pretty well. We have good scrims against them. So on some maps they are like better than us, but we have good maps against them. So yeah, scrims are good.
Okay, cool. And then, I mean, we have to talk about it. Brojman, he's not here.
Not yet.
For the entirety of group stages.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that going to be affecting you? Obviously, I mean, some are thinking that you might get a lower seed than perhaps you might have done with Bruno. Obviously, you've got Sake here. He's a known player. How did it come to picking up Sake as opposed to maybe a stronger player?
I mean, basically, we are a French-speaking team, so finding a French guy was like the right way for us.
Mm-hmm.
We are very, very blessed and happy that he's like fine playing one day and not the other two. Like it was hard finding someone like that. And I mean, Bruges is the main caller, obviously, so it's going to be a tough one.
So who does that mean is main calling for the first day? Is
basically, it's like a mix of Nevo, myself, and a bit of Delhi, I would say.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be okay. Groups doesn't matter too much.
Of course.
We would like to win every game to have like a good seed tomorrow, but I think it's going to be okay.
Okay, cool. And if we take a look at the groups, obviously you ended up in Group A.
Yeah.
Some people, a lot of people are saying this is the harder of the group. How are you sort of looking at it? There's the MAC team, the Yak team. They're kind of the upsetters that we think might be here at the tournament.
Yeah, basically these guys are like the buffed one when it comes to lands.
Yeah, yes.
So, I mean, our group I think is a bit harder than the B1, which is like more chill, I would say. But like, these teams, except for Witness, are teams that we're supposed to beat, even though if Bruges is not here, so I think it should be alright.
You say that, but I mean, during the season, you were dropping maps to these likes of to Yak, you dropped a map to Garda. I know they're not here, obviously it's a bit of a mixed team, but you were dropping maps. So are you fully confident going in against these players that you're going to be able to take the whole map?
I think we are very, very confident. The thing is, like, during the season, we're still like one of the teams that still drops maps to team that we shouldn't be dropping any points to. But it happens, it's the game. Sometimes you beef, sometimes the team is just better today, and that's it. But yeah, we're very confident.
I mean, it's a testament to you guys as a team, really. I mean, obviously last season you did the whole sort of the gauntlet, the playoff gauntlet. You went from 4th to 1st. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
Now you're maybe a little bit more of you're not the underdog that you were now. So, I'm hoping you do well this tournament.
Hopefully.
We'll talk a little bit more about, obviously, we're both medic players at heart.
We are, yeah.
Straight off the bat, who is going to have the most drops this LAN? Out of all the medic players here, because you've been dropping a few recently. I've been checking your logs.
That's what I do.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably going to be, I hope it's not going to be me, but, people need to normalize dropping. Sometimes it has to happen. And I think I really don't care about dropping at all. Even if I drop like 10 times during a game, I wouldn't be pissed. I don't know who's like the drop guy. Maybe Piggles. Maybe Piggles.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, but it has to be me at some point.
It's good. It always is. Okay. Sort of another medic one for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather get airshot dropped or drop to full damage?
I'd rather drop to full damage.
You'd rather drop to full damage?
Because I don't get airshot anytime. So
you don't want to be in the frag movies?
Never.
You never want to be in the frag movies?
You never see me in any frag movies. You're going to see me because you got a good one on me this season, but that's it. You never see me in frag movies.
And for sort of, just to wrap this up a little bit, you obviously have quite a good relationship with the Witness guys. You've played a lot with Pappy, with Ixie, with Thomas.
Yeah.
Does it make you nervous that they might know you a little bit more in and out than perhaps the other teams?
Nah. Nobody knows the way I move. Nobody knows the way. Nah, I'm very happy to see them at LAN. I was supposed to be here last year, but it's been like 2 or 3 years that I didn't see them. So I'm very happy to see them. Already say hello and everything, but nobody knows the way I move, so it's okay.
You've got those dancing shoes on, those dancing shoes on.
I didn't put them today, but in game I'll I'll be like fitting the good shoes.
Perfect, I do. Well, thanks for talking to me, mulaa.
Thanks to you, bro.
And wish you luck at the tournament.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the deskless desk. I don't know why we keep talking about this analyst desk. There is no desk. It is a couch, though. There is Ben. There is not Stephen. There is Ayatollah Tabs. But we could even question the analysis. Anyway, welcome back to the poLANd.tf stream. We're halfway through it, gentlemen. We've actually managed to make it. The spectators are getting drunker. The players are somehow getting colder. And, well, the casters are getting tired. How are you feeling, Ben, halfway through?
I'm doing pretty good, and honestly, a lot of that is because I'm motivated by the game that I know is coming up, right? It's Witness against poLANd. It was like the biggest event of the last season of League Play, right? Like maybe the dethroning, the return of Witness. I don't know. This could be such a good game.
Not Stephen. poLANd have had it rough going into this. If you've been living under a rock, I just want to keep you down on the low. Venom Crest actually ended up drawing against this lineup of poLANd. They've also not had the most easy time in these other easy group games. They had a couple of rounds lost to the Dogs as well. Is this the sign of poLANd are in trouble, or is it just about that missing Brugman?
It could be. I think you mentioned Brugman. I think it's such a pivotal factor in this team. I mean, every time we've seen him at LAN, he's been one of the best performing players on their team, and I think missing him could be a potential, but yeah, it's never a good sign when you're kind of dropping rounds to teams you maybe shouldn't. Losing, a couple of rounds to the Dogs there is not the best sign. This Witness Gaming squad has been looking pretty solid up to this point, so it's maybe a worry. But then when you come into these sort of games against these two top teams, it feels like the play styles slightly shift, where it's a lot more chaotic when you're playing against, the likes of the Dogs or teams of that caliber. But then when you play this Witness Gaming kind of team, it's going to be a bit of a slower game, more methodical. You kind of maybe know what they're doing. You've maybe demo reviewed them, so you can see some spots you can play with, which actually might play well into their playbook. But I guess we'll just have to see.
All right, Ben, before I go into this, I just need to take care of something. 1 second. Casters, stop yelling in my direction. I'm trying to do the analyst desk here, and you're just mouthing off into your microphone. All right. This is serious here, Ben. It's Witness. They're trying to make a campaign to get to America right now. This is a very big game for them. This is the first game they can sink their teeth into some important team. So we need to take it with some grace. Is it important, or am I making a big deal?
In terms of the names on the server, yes. I still think, regardless of the result on the server here, I think Witness, poLANd's probably both coming through in that top part. They're both going in the upper bracket. And let's face it, they're probably going to face each other in the knockout bracket at some point in the double elimination. So I think in that regard, maybe it's not the most important, but also it sets the stage, right? Like, this is the two best teams. poLANd really want to show they're here to play. Of course, not having Brugman is a big deal, but I think in terms of the motivation, in terms of the confidence they're going to build for the rest of this event, I think this is a pretty big game.
All right, now, Stephen, obviously, poLANd are looking for some points out of this group stage to kind of guarantee that upper bracket. But what are Witness's objectives here? Do you think you guys they're trying they're in practice mode right now? Are they trying things out? What do you think that Witness are cooking?
It's always a little bit of everything, right? In these sort of situations, you want to make sure you're getting as much practice in as possible, but also kind of feeling out the other team, seeing how they like to play. You often see on LAN, the play styles do change a little bit, especially, as the pings change. You can start to feel unleashed on the soldiers and the demo man, and maybe you want to play around your demo man a little more than you might normally want to, so you want to try a few new things here. I'm sure Lucas is going to be feeling really, really good on this ping, so maybe you're going to try to let Lucas unleash just a little bit more than you would previously. But yeah, I think a lot of this is about confidence. If you win this really, really confidently, you're going to scare poLANd a little bit. I think they might be worried if they have to play them in the later rounds a little bit. And then, yeah, just practicing, making sure you're feeling good. It's still the first day of LAN, so you got to get used to it, used to the new setup. And I think, yeah, objective will be just kind of feeling each other out mostly.
All right, Ben, keep it nice and simple here. There's people that are tuning into YouTube because this is obviously the headlining game of the group stage, and there's also just your casual Americans logging on to see who is this Witness team, who is this poLANd team. But we've got a couple of substitutes. Just tell me plainly, plain English, who's upgrading, who's downgrading. So start off with poLANd, obviously. Sake is coming in and covering for Brugman. Upgrade, downgrade, side grade?
don't be too mean to the guy, but I think it's a pretty big downgrade, honestly. And that's mostly on the case of who Brugman is, right? Brugman's such a great talismanic player, has had a fantastic season, and last season as well, coming back with a Prem win, was great at LAN last year in Poland, made it to the grand final, and it's just such a big player to lose. At least Brugman's going to be back tomorrow for the knockout games, but I think that's a pretty rough player to lose here for the forfeits.
Now, not Stephen. I've given you the difficult job of telling me who's an upgrade, a side grade, and a downgrade in the new Witness lineup. So obviously, there's two names I'm missing here that are usually quite familiar to the American compadres. But now you've got Hugo. Now you've got Lucas. Upgrades, downgrades. You can even add your opinion to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is the loss of Celentes. I think the old way the Witness played a lot around Celentes' playmaking and being able to play off that. He made such an insane amount of space, was always hitting hundreds damage rockets. It was just a crazy soldier. But I think Hugo is the best man for the job that you could have gotten. He's a super solid player. He plays so well with the team. They communicate well. He's always making space. He's always valuing his life when he needs to, and then making space for the team when he needs to. And he's just super consistent as well. So I think it's ended up being a side grade. I was a little worried when the season started that they were going to look a bit rough, and I think they did originally. But now that he's got into his stride and they're all playing well, I think it's super good. As well as Demo Men, I think Lucas is just insane. It's a different play style again, how Domo played. He was like a little more passive, a little more protect Tomas. But now Lucas, he's a lot more of a jump in, do big damage, and then Tomas is just allowed to clear up just as much as he was before, if not more, as he's now main calling a lot more than he previously was. But I think this team could potentially be stronger than the old roster overall.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We don't need to speculate anymore. We can just spectate, as we can now head on over to the casters, and they'll be watching Witness Gaming versus forfeits. Let's take it away, gentlemen.
Yeah, that is us, Wondom. That is indeed us for Witness versus forfeits. Perhaps a bit of a grudge match, perhaps a bit of a rematch from the regular season when, forfeits stole away the victory from Witness and Turbo reclaims the shoe. I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? We're going to be looking at process as well, although we initially assumed it would be Sunshine. How do you feel about that? How do you think the map's going to play into this?
I am not too sure, to be honest. I think they were talking about this a decent amount on the desk as well, that this is a new look Witness, and I very much agree with them that this is a Witness without Celentes is a very different Witness. Last time when we saw these two teams go up against each other, we'll make it very brief because we are going live. forfeits came out on top across two maps. They ended up getting 4 points. The Golden Cap a loss and a map victory on Bagel. A lot of it came down to the initial mid-fights. We'll have to see how Witness change their strides here.
We'll see how the Sake substitution is working for them as well as the mid kicks off. And both teams playing a little bit slowly. Sake going for the high bomb as the first initiative, but nothing to jump onto, while Tomas and Hugo just clean up on the other side. Half the combo already there, crucially no heals, only the soldiers. They do crucially just about find auto to salvage it, but it's a very good mid for Witness right away.
Such a huge play in the end there to get in onto Auto. Getting that medic kill, it would have been absolute disaster for forfeits. To be honest, he didn't get that good of a look at what happened. Feels like maybe Witness just surging across, finding so many kills. Now, Moore's in behind. He's hiding. Not finding a kill so far, just biding his time for the moment as Witness have fallen back a little bit. That is now Domo revealing his position, but there's multiple players in front of him. He goes in and hits two. Does not hit 3 rockets. That's
dangerous. That's very dangerous. They didn't let him get away with the third one. He just don't have enough in the clip, but still, I mean, buying a little bit of time. In the meantime, mulaa built. He's almost got his Uber ready already, so they're not going to be feeding them they're not going to be feeling too bad here, forfeits. They're going to be having an easy time holding this, and it's going to be down to sacks like this, just a scout running in.
But they just find him
They just find him anyway. Happy with the follow-up as well, and it's crumbling there. I mean, they're trying to get onto auto as best they can, but it's not happening.
It's such a really nice sack there. Straight in onto mulaa, getting that frag instantly now. Massive advantage here for Auto. It is QB in behind on the flank, but he has such big shoes to fill, much like the one that Turbo tapped through my general direction. Actually hit me really solidly as well. This is a massive advantage here for Witness. They're looking to push in. QB just has to go for back cap.
I mean, you can stick that. They're busy on last, as long as you can have some people blocking up on the point or something like that. Now EXE actually cleans up QB, and then now it's going to be on that last fight instead, which is already looking bad for forfeits. I mean, not good positioning for Witness either, but they find the kills anyway. Eventually they clean up, and it's just one after another. Lucas on the point as well, laying down the damage, and it's a quick round for Witness.
Witness are so good at catching out mulaa in these fights. He cannot stay alive in them. And it's giving Witness such a large advantage when they come in and try to take these big team fights. The initial Uber is not that successful either. They got QB in behind, doing a good job distracting. But then ForFence, they failed to come back in and get any cleanup. This was almost a really good play from Domo as well, trying to go in. But you can see in this play, it's Frenchies getting all the Witness members super, super low, but they just don't find the frags.
We'll see if this mid can turn around their fates. Last one did not go well for them, but there's anything to play for. ForFence certainly can find their way back into this. Maybe just need a bit of a wake-up call with the first round now. We'll see how they approach it as Pappy goes in for a deep bomb onto the medic immediately. Will not get away with it. Never mind, he does get away with it for free. Apparently, you can't clean him up just like that. mulaa taking care of a couple more players as well. On the mean side, on the other side, they do find a couple frags as well, but crucially Otto is still alive, not feeling any pressure at all. Ixie has got him, escorted out all the way back. No way they're going to chase that one, and that is going to be a big Uber advantage to play with.
It's Witness really bullying their own teammate, to be honest, so far this game. mulaa just cannot catch a break on this mid again. So aggressive. They end up taking a lot of players in to get that medic, and that does mean that they have to forfeit the mid. So Frenchies do gain control, but now also a massive advantage. They're going to have to wait a little bit for Hugo rather to come back up before they can sort of re-aggress into the middle. But now it's up to the Frenchies to try and delay and stall and potentially catch out a member here as they try to come back into mid and soldier bombing in.
The force, early force, at least if they can kite this Uber well enough and not lose too many players, not bleed too much. I think one scout is about as bad as it's going to be. I think that's admirable. I think that's an admirable way of dealing with the Uber here. They got it out of the way, even if they have to give up mid for it. Now they have their own to respond with, and that QB spawn, it's going to be a while, but he'll be there in time, and I don't think Witness are going to be feeling themselves too aggressive.
It's a mirrored situation though, right? Like this is exactly the position the Witness was in earlier. Came in, managing to just get forced immediately, right? Now ForFence gonna have to watch out for similar spam comes in. This is a really hard mission to put into. Even if you do have that advantage, you see already how much pressure is just on this combo. Not taking too much damage, but they are forced to sit really far back. It's mulaa and the demo man once again just backing off, not able to get forward. Deli low already, but Uber Frenchies on the other hand successfully getting in here. ForFence
not having to use. Very good, very well. Works out for them beautifully. Now it's gonna be even as they make their way forward to second. Witness Otto is going to have that Uber ready, and this is going to be the stalemate situation. How are the Frenchies in the driver's seat? They want to obviously convert around, get themselves back on the board. How are they going to approach this? How are they going to try to bust through this second hole? They haven't spent much time here. Fighting on the flank here, Hugo versus the Mole. Gets a bit of backup from his scout though, so Hugo's going to have to back off for the time being as pressure is put onto the point with a bomb, but Sake's going to get cleaned up easily from that one. And it's going to be a counter-sack, perhaps, coming out of the side of Witness immediately to follow this up with something.
They're just trying to send in the players there initially in through PC, right? But the sack, unfortunately, not very effective. You can lose now. It's kind of a bit of a difficult hold to break, to be honest. It's sort of the most obvious play is you send some kind of soldier in through choke, right? You are Witness, but also you're up around. You're okay as Disciples. Why would you ever push in this situation?
Don't push. If you're winning, why push?
It's actually this is really interesting, right? Because the two games that we saw of these two teams versus each other in the TF2 regular season were much faster paced than what we're watching at the moment. Granted, some of that was just the fact that we're watching a Bagel game, and Bagel just inherently being off is a lot faster. This time around, both the teams really taking their time to sort of sit back. This is Frenchie sitting back in choke, sort of trying to spam out, find some kind of angle. Once again, his QB here. Doesn't get in.
They're just trying to find some way. Lots of damage down to Hugo. They actually clean it up as well. Demul managed to find that kill. Maybe this is the opening that they're looking for. One player down opens up a bit of space for somebody on ForFence to send themselves deep in here, and they're just claiming a lot of ground on this catwalk. All of a sudden, they're getting in deep. Unfortunately, Deli extended a little bit, but they find Papi at the very least to respond with. At least it's something. Demul still in very deep as well in enemy lines here, but will eventually get cleaned up.
Yeah, he's just taken down now. Losing your demo is so scary in this situation, right? You just can't have the damage to hold on, but QB, mad on a mission, gets in behind, gets that force. This is really big now for ForFence. They just have to keep themselves backed out for now, but look at you, Lucas there, so aggressive, gets that counter force out, and this is a scout solo straight in onto the demo's face, hits some nice pipes. Not much follow-up can come out here.
Big heads-up play by Lucas there, gets them that force immediately. Now they just have to hold on to the second without the demo in their pocket. having to play this a bit more carefully because the Mool's already in as well. Gets the frag onto Ixie. Lots of damage to try and follow up with, and they're just crumbling on both sides, mind you. Deli and the Mool both go down, but it's looking a lot better for Forfence in the end. And Otto is just about escaping as well as Sake actually cleans up Hugo. And there's going to be a bit more pressure on this combo. They're not going to be out of it just yet. They're not Scott home free. Scout's already on the point as well, and there's a demo taken care of, and the round just like that.
As Frenchies taking a massive round there, putting themselves firmly back in the favor there of the game. I was a bit scared for the Frenchies, to be honest, coming into this. They're playing with a sub. They're playing without the superstar pocket player, but still putting up work there versus with this game. To be honest, it feels maybe like they're, to be honest, a bit asleep at the wheel. They're not going for plays that I think they normally would. Some of that, yes, is the map, but still, usually they don't play this passively, and I'm a bit worried for them if this is the kind of game that we're going to see from them. So Frenchies managed to collapse on them. That was a really, really bad fight for them in the second. Frenchies capitalize off of it, get the round. Back on mid now once again. Operation, do not let Mulaa live.
And they're doing a good job at it already as he just gets demolished instantly. They found Otto on the other side though, mind you. They get him as well. It's still kind of even in terms of players as well. A lot healthier for the side of Witness here, but this mid is far from over for both teams. As now, well, slowly it is coming to be over for Forfence, but Sake's still in there, actually just spawned with his medic. So it is a 1 mid for Witness, but it wasn't as decisive as they would have wanted it to be, and crucially, it's actually going to be a slight add for Mulaa, considering he spawns first, gets to build first, and, well, I think it's anybody's game after this still.
Frenchies are doing a good job responding to the initial Witness aggression, right? They're just sending in their soldiers as fast as they can in onto that medic. They're doing a really good job of recognizing that if the enemy soldiers are on our side, we can go on theirs and clean up players. And they are getting that counter frag onto Auto, but it is just the wrong players alive at the end of the mid. Unfortunately, it's Thomas and Ixie on the high ground, and you just can't defend that as 2 soldiers and a demo. Now QB favoring a bit of a spy play here. Ubers are even, to be honest, maybe even slightly in Mulaa's favor.
This could work. I mean, they might be aware of it. Otto's obviously turning around a bunch, but this is a slow kind of spy play, right? The cloak and dagger. You're trying to bide your time here. You're trying to find the perfect moment to strike, and unfortunately, he doesn't find it. But he gets out of it for now. He will live, and he will actually get back to his team.
Oh, that is insane. But look, no, I think he might get cleaned up by his scout, Ixie. He's in on last, spawn camping himself. I don't know how they did not see that guy. I don't even know what I thought, to be honest, but like, my brain saw that Ixie was there, and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
like his natural habitat.
You know what I mean?
He's supposed to be there, apparently. As Pappy dies to the sentry gun trying to peek in. Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do, trying to get into last.
So, it's a 1-1 trade. So, it's actually completely fine for both sides, right? Now QB up on the sniper. And the spy as well.
Just checking.
Spy checking
Just
spawn, making sure that Pappy is not opening the door for anyone. He's not. Just staying around for a little while longer. Have to make sure he's not staring down the barrel of either his sniper.
He is staring down a barrel, in this case of his sniper rifle, as he tries to line up a little bit of a shot here on somebody unsuspecting of what could be behind the corner they peek, but it's not the best angles on last. The far left side obviously works well. Obviously, you can get into relic here if you actually hit the shots. Lots of aggression coming out of Witness, but they clean up Hugo Ixie very easily, very quaintly, very quickly, and a lot of damage to Pappy as well. Might even make this a push out potentially for Forfence. I mean, 3 players down, it's the best opportunity you've had. Just don't walk into Lucas's stickies and you might just have a chance to get out, but I don't think Forfence fancy themselves.
Maybe a bit of fear here. I'm surprised they're not even sending a sack or anything out. I know the sack is very projected, right? And very expected that you send some kind of soldier check to see Lucas's position there on the second as well, just waiting for anyone to try and bomb in Phantom Airshot. Just electing to stay back on Lars. Frenchie's not feeling comfortable pushing out there despite their 3-man advantage. Mostly explosive class is down as well, right? Like, there's not that much spam coming in as a second. You could definitely, even if you don't want to take the fight, you can still sack someone in. Instead now, it's Ixie up on the counter sniper, so he's just going to set up and lobby for now. The rest of his team around him as well. This is a bit of a weird angle. I am not the biggest fan of the sniper here in onto last, because this is kind of the best angle you've got, right?
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can peek around 4, maybe kill a soldier, but this is just a sniper 1v1, and no one wins it.
It's a duel that's still going to be ongoing for a while longer, and now they know that it's in play as well on the side of Forfence, so they're going to be able to play around that Ixie sniper. Pressure him out, and unfortunately they don't play around him well enough as Domo loses his head before QB wins the duel eventually, but a sniper traded for a soldier. It's just another one for one basically. Not much to write home about. Maybe opens up a little bit because there's less spam, and it does enough for the combo to just kind of run, sorry, the flank to just run in there as Hugo and Thomas try to claim a bit of ground before getting cleaned up. And again, 3 players down now. Ixie just now spawning. And forFence still fearing a little bit, not respecting Witness too much, not wanting to push out, maybe respecting Pappy in lobby as he's laying down a bit of damage and does eventually die.
I feel like this is just forFence running down the timer more than anything else.
Yeah.
Right? At this point, if you're not pushing with that kind of advantage, you are just sitting here committing to the full 2 minutes. It's 1-1 on the score. Plenty of time left in play in regulation, and forFence are not willing to make this, albeit a bit risky. Like, these are big advantages. You could push out at least one member, but they are, I guess, so scared of what happens when they lose a soldier that they are just opting to stay back all 5, or all 6 rather, just on last. Wait out this timer. Now a minute left to go. Witness have a couple pushes in them to try and break this hold, and forFence are just going to sit back and take it. Unless Witness get wiped, I don't think we're going to see them anywhere near second.
Ooh, that was a stomp as well. Was it the man shreds there?
Yes.
On Pappy. Interesting. Okay, I mean, lots of aggression in, but they only find the NG with it. So, I mean, Deli goes interested as well, but again, they're not finding the frag. Ixie goes down as well. 3 players down once more. At this point, you're not going to push out for forFence, but if you go for an exchange, it's still going to favor you anyway. Lucas is not going to be able to do much by himself either, so they know that they've got this last point secured. There's a very low chance that they're going to be able to lose this easily unless this exchange that's inevitably happening.
They just have to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's one less fight in this round, and it's Witness coming in already.
They gotta try. They gotta try and see what they can make happen, and they're getting pretty deep with their soldiers, but crucially, mulaa stays alive again. Nevo, nice crit there onto Lucas as well, and yeah, it's not looking like it's happening at all for Witness here. They're not gonna find a solution to this last push for now. This problem remains unsolved, and we're going to a round reset without the Ubers ever being used.
If you are in chat right now, typing resident sleeper, I see you. I do literally see you. I'm not allowed to see it, but I also hear you, and I understand your concern. Trust me. The game in the regular season was way better than this.
forFence coming hard off the heels of the last season. Witness maybe a bit rusty. Once they de-rust, this is kind of what happens, I guess. Look,
I'm
taking it
just
seriously.
surprised of the lack of, I don't know what you call it, but like the lack of wanting to go.
Lack of initiative. Yeah, they just
Like Witness to me are a team where they're good enough, and Frenchies as well. I feel like what won Frenchies the game versus Witness and what won Frenchies the playoffs last season was their ability to recognize advantageous situations that were not massively wrong.
yeah, just
This
going.
time around, they're playing it so slow, but not on the mids.
Yeah, no, they're going all out right away. Sick again, big bomb across Delhi, the first to fall, unfortunately, but they at least straight him out for Pappy and Hugo. No soldiers on the side of Witness. Perhaps something to allow forFence to stretch their legs a little bit more. Not as much spam. As long as you can get Lucas under control, perhaps you'll have what you need, but not good in positioning. Though both scouts on top there for Witness are doing so much. Thomas and Ixie just shutting down anything Domo tries to do, and he's not going to be able to get away with it either, as they just cap out this mid, bully their way through this. A single scout left behind with QB trying to make anything happen.
It's
not
really
going to happen.
surviving. This is not the end of the world for forFence. You know what they could do, Sonny. They can go back to last.
They love it.
Even Ubers.
It's their favorite place. They love being there, and apparently that's the way they're headed. Not even going to contest second, not even going to try for an exchange that could possibly go poorly. You might as well just go to last and see how this goes for you instead. As Witness are very aggressive into that last already as well. Taking a lot of ground right away. I mean, soldiers in deep, lots of damage by Lucas. They're just playing the point so much. Nuking everything.
Oh my god!
Okay.
That was insane.
You don't need the Uber. You can
That
just
was
win.
pure aura. They just pushed up on. What?
Exuding
That
pure
looks like,
chat
okay,
energy.
that is such a classic Witness gaming sack.
Yeah.
Where they will not let you set up. They will go instantly before you have time to set up a gun, before the heavy comes up. But instead, it's Lucas just kind of walking on the point, does 400 damage to your whole combo,
They just
and
let
the
him.
round is over.
They just let him do that. Sometimes you just gotta let him get away with it, I guess. I'm sure they've learned their lesson. I'm sure forFence won't let that mistake happen again, I guess, as we're going into our next mid-fight. Off the back of a round reset, a very quick one, and Witness are back in the lead, but I mean, if forFence can find their way into these mids, they've been looking shaky so far, but they can still try show some initiative. High bomb by Hugo, but it's just a bit of scouting, bit of prodding, and neither team really committing too much just yet. Thomas straight out for Demul on the other side as they just try to keep rotating around here. The teams swapping positions back and forth. Lucas a bit of damage, putting down onto the combo as well, and slowly but surely, forFence is winning the war of attrition here. They've got the numbers now to try and win this mid-fight out. All right, if they so find the focus they need, but
They just have the positioning as well, right? Look
taken.
at where Lucas is standing with his medic. Auto is going to have 100%, but there's no scout to run them out in. I
gotta
don't know
commit.
how you make this work because the other team also has Uber. I guess Lucas can jump out, but they need to just get this force. Lucas does come in and get that initial pipe, but what now? Thomas has joined up with his medic and he dies instantly. This is disaster for Witness, who just got up around. It is deadly cleaning them up, and I think they could send this all the way onto last.
This is an easy fast one for Forfence if they can convert it. That second cap is gonna take so long though. It's the longest one they've ever felt. Hugo was trying to block it for a while as well. Matter of
Oh my
fact,
god, Pappy's in
Pappy actually
behind as
does.
well.
Pappy does block it eventually. QB does get cleaned up, so that's gonna buy so much time for Witness to get their spawners out of spawn. Maybe.
Just getting spawn
But
camped.
they're not gonna be able to. They're still getting spawn camped, and they're still kind of
They
getting so
don't
much
have the
cap time
health
as well.
though. This is Deli alone
Oh.
on the last sake. Get cleaned up as well. One soldier bomb comes in, but Lucas just has a pipe ready there waiting for him. Now, 2 players down for Forfeits. It was looking so good for so long. There is light at the end of the tunnel though. Rula, massive advantage hit still, right? He was healing that whole time.
Yep. And they've got that Uber to play with. They're going to be able to give up second for now, much rather have to. But once that Uber is ready, and once you can maybe win a fight on second with it, you can try to roll into last. Sometimes pushing last is as simple as winning on second. It's been shown many times before to be a good theorem to follow.
They have not that much time to work with, however. Look at Walter's Uber already. It does come out for the French side, and they find a single kill. This is Witness doing exactly what they need to do in this situation now. With the Uber gone for the French side, they're down a player as well. Yes, Pappy's gone, but look at Lucas sent into the stratosphere behind, straight in onto Mulaa, and
beefs.
that teammate is just not going down. Mulaa
beefs
with the
everything.
moves. Somehow, some way, it's auto falling instead. 1 player, 2 players up on last, and I think Witness Gaming might just crumble beneath them. What just happened?
An uncharacteristically unfortunate play out of Lucas. Missing every shot he could there. Mulaa maybe also just putting in insane dodges, getting away with it. They draw it even. Forfence. 2-all versus Witness. 11 minutes left on the map. It's been a bit quicker than we thought it would be, and I mean, there's a couple of rounds on board for each team now. I think they're starting to find their weaknesses on the other side. I think they're starting to, they felt each other out, and now we're starting to see this aggression that you wanted to see.
Witness have only played 1 map so far. They had a buy round in their first round, which means they might. I think the cope maybe is they're just not warm. Oh my god, Lucas. So close to going down there on that middle. Maybe just taking a bit of time to warm up here. I do not feel like they're playing up to their usual standard here.
And they're taking it very, very carefully. And okay, they find the first trade there, but Lucas on the other side going down. Not that great for them at all. Trade out Soldier for your demo. Absolutely not what you want to see. Now it's going to be on this next fight as Thomas picks up a frag onto Deli. That's a huge one, actually. The demo missing for Forfence means that's carry down. That's both scouts out of the equation as well. Only Mulaa left alive, and, well, he's out of harm's way, but he's still getting chased as well. And there's a good chance he does actually make it to the spawn door here if they're committed enough. Will he get in?
Oh!
No, he won't. He doesn't get away with that one. And
That
that's
is
Witness dominating.
Brutal from Witness as well, coming in so late, and now they have a perfect spawn camp situation set up, right? They can park a scout on second, still only 3 up. This Pyro needs to do so much work with these projectiles that are locking down the spawn door. QB still has to sit quite passively, also needs to play careful. They have a massive Uber advantage, they're getting the second camp, but the Heavy's up as well, and Witness need to play this super well.
They have to, and they're going to use that Uber right away. Unfortunately, Hugo eats the reflect, though. There's a lot of cap time put down already as well. They got to get these players down, though, for the Forfence, and they don't. They don't find the frags. They found Sake, and that's it. And matter of fact, Lucas dies late as well. It's only Thomas left. He's just... No way.
No, he doesn't get him anyway? That is a crime.
How do they let him get away with that? That's insane. Not only does he first, like, pretend fake going for the... He's good. He's just that good. He's just that good.
Does someone know the number for the Polish police force?
That's a crime.
There's just no way. That was pure robbery. There's no way he should be allowed to do that. He decides to maybe go for the back cap and like ride on the soldier's head for fun. And he's like, nah, actually I'm just going to two-shot your med anyway. Like, huh?
That's why we're sending this guy to America to represent us, the entire continent. Wow.
Exclamation mark fundraiser in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, anyway, that's going to put Witness straight back in it. They were looking shaky for that, but they salvaged it so beautifully. Thomas putting the team on his back once more. Auto, full Uber to go with now as Witness make their way through IT here with even just an early, very, very early pop.
Okay.
Perhaps a bit misguided. That's a very curious one. They didn't find anything with it whatsoever, not even a straggling player.
Is this the type of legendary combo Uber where the other team doesn't even know you pop? Are we in a situation, because, okay, look at what the Frenchies are playing. Did they see that Uber charge? Do they think it's even? They have full ad right now.
They don't know. I mean, it's not like you would really want to push out anyway. You need some picks first, right? But That's
I
interesting.
think the Frenchies don't know, Sonny.
I think Witness also knows that they can just get away with it, because it's not like the Frenchies have been very keen on pushing out a loss so far, right? Yeah, no, I think it's going to work out perfectly fine. They just got away with it.
The gun.
They're getting a lot of damage down as well. Lots of damage to the QB, actually. Sake also very low. They're just whittling them down dry. They don't even need that Uber, and by the time we're done talking about it, Auto almost has again. Happy goes down, but they trade him out for Domo. Well, Ixie goes down as well, though, so they're just buying themselves a little bit of time here, but it doesn't matter. Auto's going to have Uber again, and by the time Domo is up, they're just going to be pushing, so, well, potentially.
I mean, so Forfeits have not shown themselves willing to sack in any of these kind of player advantage situations. I'm not even saying that we're going to be Americans and push on these kind of advantages, but at least send some kind of sack, right? They're just opting to stay back on last, run down the timer. They seemingly have no faith in their ability to come in and actually get something meaningful from a process second sack, which I understand. Getting a sack like that is typically pretty hard. Maybe you're super scared because something that Witness is conversely very good at least allegedly, are these sort of 1vx situations where they have that slight player advantage.
Doesn't matter when you lose the sniper battle.
Yep.
That's going to open things up a little bit for Forfeits. Maybe if they're keen, they can get a bit more of an aggressive angle for QB here, but I think, again, they're just so content holding last. I think we've seen this out of French teams years in and years out over the eons, really. They love holding. When they are on last, even though they can be aggressive, they just love waiting. They love holding until there's such a decisive advantage that they could push off of. And we're seeing this again. Obviously, pushing with a sniper would be hard anyway, and then Ixie's up again for the duel once more. They haven't spotted each other just yet, and the shot onto Sake is going to open things up a little bit spam-wise for this Witness team. Perhaps this is what they need to give Ixie even more aggressive angles, unless QB can have a word with it, I guess.
It's just going to open the door for a bit further, more aggressive angles, as you say. It's a lot of damage onto the Moon there as well, falling down quite low. Managed to get into the spawn for the moment. It's just a sentry gun with a headshot from Ixie now. Onto QB with the sentry gun falling as well. We see the aggression coming out. mulaa dancing around Ixie's crosshair. Makes it out with his life for the moment. But now Ixie fancies himself. Be careful. Counter shot can come in onto the demo. Ixie not hitting it instead. It's his demo going down now. The pipes from Delhi are coming out. I think Frenchies, at least for now, crisis kind of averted. This is one soldier pick. Free for them in lobby. Here's the question. No demo man up. Are we just going to sit on last? That's an engineer spawning.
That's
my question.
Not pushing.
We're just staying.
They love staying on last. Again, 2 minutes left anyway, so you might as well go for another round reset. After that, there's possibly one more round. So, at the worst case, you can just tie this up, and even just tying Witness in the group stage, not a bad show at the end of the day, right?
Just a quick reminder: we're not playing with the Golden Cats in the group stage, right? So if this just goes to a draw, it's just a draw. So nothing really else comes of it. It's still just. At least for the moment, right? All eyes on this Ixie sniper. Decent body shot there onto the soldier, but it's not a kill. Instead, it's just Hugo on the match.
Bounces on him!
Bounced up! And I think they just barely managed to get that force. Sacking 2 for it. It is Lucas quite low as well, but I think maybe now Witness have some kind of an angle. It's a minute 20 to go. And that should be time for another push.
Hugo doing his best Silentis impression. It worked out that time. Now it's down to Witness. Will they be able to bust this hold? Full Uber to work with, although mulaa is building like an absolute madman to get back at this as quickly as possible. But they're not going to have by the time Witness pushes in. It's going to be all about this positioning. Can they kite the Uber well enough? Can this heavy come back in quickly enough? Can QB live even if his sentry dies? All those questions we will see answered momentarily as the Uber does come in. They're going to be forced into spawn for the time being, but now that Uber's faded, these Forfeits players are going to start flooding the point. A little bit of cap tempo down, but the stickies are still not quite cleared off, and Happy is going to be the first to fall. They do find a couple more on the other side, though. It's going to look pretty good. Lucas nuking down everybody, and there you go. That's a 1 round for Witness, and with 4 minutes left, Forfeits have everything to play for.
It's just Witness managing to come in at the very end. That push is really scary as well. Forfeits bunker up on that last as well, right? So passive with that heavy up top, trying to just keep their players alive. And the initial Uber pop doesn't get anything, but it funnels so many French players onto that point, and Lucas just has free reign. You see his name, not a lot in the kill feed, like getting direct kills, but he was assist to all of those frags. So much damage dealt. The Frenchies just don't have the health bars to hold on. Now 3.5 minutes to go. As you say, they need a mid-fight victory here.
They need to, and they need to be able to roll it very, very fast, because 3 minutes is not a long round at all, especially against a team like Witness. So far, I mean, Forfeits looking okay. Neither team losing a player just yet. Sake out of the fight for a while there, and Domo also dangerously low, not being able to hold his own against the scout for much longer. Unfortunately, Ixie actually gets that frag. by virtue of assisted suicide, but meantime, Ixie and Hugo did die on the other side, and it is actually a 1 mid for the side of Forfens, albeit barely, and not decisively enough to roll easily in 3 minutes. The second fight is going to be all to fight for.
They don't have that much time to work with, right?
Yeah.
They have a pick. This is one of those situations where I feel like if you're playing to win, you just have to go anyway. But instead, they are slowing this down a little bit. There's one soldier hiding here around sewers. It is Pappy sitting quite close. He's eating a lot of damage, but Sake in with a hero bomb, only finds one rocket, but QB in on the flank
and Auto doesn't
finds
pop.
no force onto Auto, who does not pop
Balls of
with
steel.
10 HP.
Absolute balls on that man. Respects his team enough, knows there's nothing else coming, no other danger. Gets away with it. Now it's going to be on whether they actually try to force this further forward. The Mole going down as well, out of position perhaps.
mulaa! Oh my god, the spam out of Lucas as well. So huge that mulaa, so low, has to pop the Uber super late. This is a really weird fight for the Frenchies because they don't have players in on mid. They have no positioning whatsoever, but honestly, neither does Witness. It's so weird. It's just safe bombing in. The Uber popped immediately, but onto who? Where are the Frenchies? There's one soldier in behind, and for what?
I think we're expecting Sake maybe too much there. We're expecting players to be closer on the side of the Frenchies. Obviously not happening. Now it's on this post-over fight. Sake trying to go for Lucas, knows the impact player. Maybe could have shot a rocket at Auto instead, and the team is just crumbling off the back of that. They're not finding anything. Ixie's in deep with the chase as well, making sure nobody's left behind on second, and it looks like the dreams of a draw are slowly fizzling out for Forfens here. They got a minute 40 left to get from their own loss to the enemy's point, and it's just starting to look like it's not happening, especially with how aggressive Witness are being again. Nevo just juggled into hell, and everybody else slowly but surely getting whittled down as well. To be fair, Witness not looking too healthy either, but there's no healing being dished out at all for the side of Forfens. Cap time being edged out as well, and slowly but surely, they might win the war of attrition.
It is just Witness coming out in the last sort of minutes of this game. Finally, I feel like showing up a little bit more there. They just managed to take these fights successfully. Such a strange fight initially on mid, but it's just a sequential 1-by-1 sack from Forfens that give Witness the opportunity to go in onto second, and from there they just completely melt them. That push on last was crazy, right? There was even Ubers, right? But this is just the thing you have in Witness where the players are just better. They can just go in and two-shot your whole team like we just saw Auto kind of 1v9 the whole thing.
You just got away with it, and that's our last mid fight, which is just for the you know, for the numbers, for the enjoyment. Hit a big clip or something. Come on, Demul. Nice bomb onto Auto here. Maybe get an air shot or something. They just ignored him completely as Pappy gets piped by Deli. Okay, that's unfortunate. Unk's not got that one.
Lucas is in prime I want clip position at the moment, and he just bosses his way forwards onto the combo. Choked out of mulaa there, and I think that might just be curtains.
Yeah, no, it was over already after that round ended, but it's definitely over now. Witness edged it out over Forfens, but it was looking a lot closer than that scoreline suggests for the longest time of that match. Like, Witness only turned up in the last 5 minutes.
This was a very close game for a long time, and I think the story of the game, at least for me, was neither team playing up to the standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a really slow game, and I typically would not look at these teams as particularly slow teams either. Part of that is, yes, we're playing Process, and Process is just a map that is a bit slow typically, but also just, we have to think of the advantages that the Frenchies were given multiple times throughout this map. And online, they are willing to capitalize off of these advantages. This time around, though, they just were not.
Didn't quite work out for them. Oh well, that was probably still what people expected, or like wanted to see out of that, right? It was an exciting match nonetheless, and I'm sure the couch has a lot to say about.
Look this way, Sonny.
That,
Actually, just look behind
right
you
there.
because a couch host is coming in. This time, I hope he's not going to throw a shoe in my face.
I mean, as long as you don't talk over him, I'm sure he'll be very happy with it. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to analyze. I think to divulge exactly what happened, and I think people on the couch, especially considering who I'm seeing walk up to right now, are gonna have a lot of choice words.
We cannot throw until we are told we can throw.
I know. They're gonna have a lot of interesting things to say.
You're just gonna make our producer really mad at us.
No, I don't think it's fine. I think it's okay. I think it's totally interesting.
Sonny, I'm gonna be honest. I'm disappointed by that game. Yeah, Witness won. Whatever. I just expect more for them. I don't think they played up to the level that they normally play. I think they know. This is the second best of one of the tournaments, so they obviously have plenty of time to wrap up.
Yeah.
I think they maybe did towards the end of that map, but just from what I saw, right, it just wasn't enough to help maybe raise your spirits a little bit. We now have a thumbs up from a producer who tells me that we can go to a desk, finally. It's not a desk, it's a couch.
Welcome back to the couch. I'm Turbo Tabs. I'm joined on the couch with Ben. I've got Domo here, and I've also got Tob here. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the analytical couch. Ben, I'm going to start with you. Just a quick little softball. Anything that kind of caught your eye during that kind of back and forth game?
I was really impressed with how Forfens dealt. I was really impressed how Forfens dealt with that game, because I was saying before the game, I was saying with a Merc and Sake, right, missing Bruges, I thought it'd be tough for them. But I thought that for like the first 20 or so minutes, they were definitely holding their own, and their last holds looked impenetrable. They were quick on the counter. They also had that weird situation where Pappy was trying to block the back cap, and they were trying to push forward, and they managed to squeeze out of that situation. I think they did a really good job.
Domo, obviously this is going to be a very strange game for you to watch. Obviously, usually in the server, but this one you're having an outer server experience. Are you proud of your boys? Did they put on a good show?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I only caught the last 10 minutes. I was playing myself, and it was 2-2, I think, when I tuned in. Yeah, if you stand behind them, it's actually really quiet. They're super concentrated. The calls are all really precise. They know what they're doing, and they managed to break the last a couple of times by some good play. Yeah, classic Witness.
All right, excellent. Tob.
Yes,
it must have been a dream game for you to watch, because there was a lot of sniping throughout the back and forth.
Yeah, I'm of course the Twitch sniper main in chat. Honestly, the sniping itself, I don't think there was that much. I missed part of the game. Were there any medic drops? I don't think so, right?
It was mainly just sniper versus sniper. There were just all these really long last holds and
that's
whatnot.
the most boring part of sniper, honestly. The sniping versus sniper. Yeah.
Is it stressing having those sorts of moments in the game where you're kind of Tob, go sniper, and you're like, man, I am going to either make or break this situation?
Yeah, this is my personal opinion. I love sniping, of course, but I don't want to be the one to have to do everything, right? I'm just oh sure, but I'm getting the pick, and then my soldiers are bombing in, because you don't want to be the one who's has to kill something, or the sniper, and then also hit the hero shots. It is very stressful. So usually when I go sniper, it's more I'm body shotting the sniper, and then you do something. It's easier.
Fair play, fair play. Domo, obviously you can offer a little bit of insight into this, maybe a little background.
Yeah.
Obviously I know the dynamic has changed, I know players and all this stuff, but because of the best of one situation, they ban out a lot of maps and they leave process at the end.
Yeah.
Is that kind of shocking for Witness to leave that, or do you think did these guys actually plan out their picks very carefully? Do they want to maybe practice certain maps during the group stage?
Yeah, I think groups are generally used to feel out the competition more so than have to win every time. Process has always been a pretty comfortable map for Witness, so no surprises there really. I mean, for Fence are pretty good at it too. That's why the scoreline was so close, really, I think. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. And just a little note for you as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lucas has taken your mantle and all this stuff. You feel like your boy is, doing you proud, or you actually maybe.
I wish you guys could have been behind him right at the end. There's 5 minutes to go. I think it's 3-2, and they're pushing last, and you just hear nuke, 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 nuke from one corner of the room. You just look over. Lucas is doing 1 million damage to a heavy and demo or something, and the entire room erupts in laughter. Yeah, he's doing well.
Magical. Ben, we've seen a lot of dynamics between all these teams and how they calm and whatnot. Witness are very cool, calm, collected, whilst say your big bloke lands and. Maybe Forfens are a bit more chaotic. Which one do you think is a better winning energy? I know it's kind of hard to pick apples and oranges here, but
I think if you're sort of an excitable, really energetic, leaping around, I think you can maybe get higher peaks every now and then. But I think it really hurts the consistency, right? Because if you start losing, the mental goes, it can really feel catastrophic. I just think if teams are solidly just calming a little bit all the time, just saying what they need to say, staying calm all the time, I think you maybe don't have the same fluctuations at the highs, but you also I feel you won't hit the lows as hard either.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on this analytical couch, just kind of feeding out little things about the background here of the game. Obviously, still keep tuned in. We've got more round 4 because we've had a bit of mix and match. So we're going to visit the other group and check out the other hype game we've got coming up. There we go. We've got the little schedule appeared there. Let me use my crippled eyes to tell you it's Mandem versus Anticide. That's going to be hype, isn't it, Ben?
Should be a good one, yeah. Do stick around and do watch it.
Magical. We'll see you soon.